Hi, welcome to the Mental Health Doctoral Research Student Network. This is video blog number 2, and I said this time I was going to talk about managing your PhD supervisors. Quite a tricky and interesting subject. It's said that our PhD supervisors are pivotal in terms of PhD completion, so having a good professional working relationship with your supervisor, or supervisors plural, is extremely important. It's quite common for supervisors to sometimes leave, move, retire, change jobs, and so this is something that we can all try and manage as best as possible. But I think what is really important when you start out getting to know your supervisors is for you both to be very clear about your aims and goals, how you're planning to work, what it is that you're most needing help with, what your struggles might possibly be. It's important to discuss things like your supervisor's accessibility and availability, so that your expectations of contacting people are quite realistic. And in between supervision, what is it that you are actually requesting? Is it that you are sending people drafts and that you would like them to comment on them? What work are you promising that you're going to be doing between each supervision session? And it's important that you're enthusiastic about your work. I've also heard that some PhD students like to hide sometimes. I've told my supervisors if I ever were to disappear for a little while, that they should come and seek me out in case I was perhaps avoiding part of my PhD work. So in terms of managing your supervisors, I think as students there's quite a bit of responsibility that falls on us. Personally, I do email my supervisors before sessions and suggest topics I'd like to talk about, and I always keep notes, usually just an A4 page, but it's something that acts as a summary both for me and for them in terms of what we covered last time and what my plans are for the next period. So that's a few suggestions about managing your PhD supervisors. I also said this time I was going to talk about time management. Now I certainly wouldn't insult you, as many of you are very experienced professionals and have probably done gallons of time management courses. I can only talk about what helps me. I'm now in year 5 of a part-time PhD, and what I find particularly beneficial at the moment is actually just making some jottings about what I've been doing, so that when I come back to my PhD, whether it's one day a week, I know where I left it off last time and I know what I'm planning to do for my next few days or hours of work. That's something that's been extremely helpful. Being a bit of an organised planner, I like to look at the calendar and plan out days over the next few months of when I will actually be having PhD time and what I'm planning to do. I do find this is quite an efficient way of using and managing my time, and I also give myself quite a number of deadlines in terms of work, which does help me to really make sure that I crack on with it. When you're doing a PhD, time just seems to evaporate. The third topic I said I'd talk about briefly is looking at other people's theses. Now, I understand this doesn't appeal to some people. Some of my colleagues said they were absolutely terrified and they didn't want to see anybody else's theses at all. I'm very different. I quite like having some kind of marker or benchmark, if you like, and I think it almost doesn't matter what the topic is. It's really interesting to look at other people's theses. I've particularly used the British Library. I think it's called Ethos, or even you can just simply Google other people's research topics and you'll either find PhD or master's theses there. It might be that somebody has got a similar method to yours. I know I've certainly Googled other theses on focus groups, qualitative research, things to do with my methodology, things to do with my topic, and might be from international researchers, and some of them obviously will be older and some of them more contemporary. But that's been something that has been extremely useful. Many of them you can download for free. I think in terms of looking at the way other people structure their work, is something that I found extremely helpful. Signing off now and look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.